It's just wonderful. I mean, it strengthens my faith in people. We've got something so special in this neighborhood. I mean, so special that if we could replicate this in every neighborhood in Memphis, people would come from all over the world wondering, what is it that you guys have? We want some of it. It can happen. It can happen.
You know, over the years, watching how this has developed, Shalom has developed in Binghampton, it's been pretty amazing. We've seen, number one, Caritas, which means love of all people. It was first a house of hospitality that was about being in the neighborhood, having Thursday evening meals together, opening up for anybody in the neighborhood, and just getting to know folks, and out of that knowing what kind of things we might do together. And in the midst of that, Carl Lawson comes along and says, he wanted to do something with urban gardening, and we begin to talk about what does it mean to get some people in the neighborhood into gardening, urban gardening, and we had, I guess, 6 families the first time we started a plot. And that all was connected to the fact that this building that we're in right now, which is the Center for Transforming Communities building called the Commons on Merton, that building had been taken over now. It was no longer the Office of Urban Ministries. Now that became the Center for Transforming Communities, which was doing shalom work in neighborhoods around the city, and began to develop the idea of this building as a partnership with organizations that were working for asset-based community development. Some of them just were working for the good of neighborhoods and for people around the city. All of these things, on the one hand, are independent of each other. On the other hand, they're all part of an ethos that had really begun with that shalom work, that early shalom work.
I know as an artist, one of the things that's very powerful for me is the visual. And so now that I think about it, the visual of all of this cooperative effort that goes on in this community really inspires my understanding of shalom. I can actually sense it because I can see it.
There have been so many things that have happened since I talked to Billy and Jeff that it's just amazing. People who've come into my life has changed 180 degrees.
One of the biggest lessons that I've learned as we've worked for Shalom is that Shalom really isn't a project. Shalom is a journey. And it really does involve patience and humility and curiosity and surprise. I already said at McMurton Gardens, we didn't have any plans to have 6 or 7 sites. We had one site in mind. We didn't have any plans to work with refugee kids. And there were times where we were not quite sure if this thing is going to take off, if it's going anywhere. And Carl and I would look at each other and say, well, let's see what happens. Let's keep going in time. It takes time. That whole sense of being, again, patient, curious, willing to be surprised, and having some humility in the midst of it, and saying, God, this is our journey with God. It's not a project.